Hey friends, it's Callista with Learn Knitting Now, and today I have a little technique to show you. I had some questions about what is this back here. Well, this box is a Band-Aid dispenser that my son created, and out of his little imagination. It was really cute. This is a in-home sauna. It does different lights and heat and all of that. We got that when my husband was going through some health stuff. That is another story for another time. Thankfully, he is doing a lot better now. But we still do occasionally use it for muscle aches and when we're sick and just for general health. So that's what that is. Anyway, on to what we're doing today. I'm going to show you how to pick up and knit. This is a technique used in a lot of knitting patterns for a lot of different reasons. We're going to do it around, this is a sweater. I'm working on a kid's sweater and we're going to do it around the neck. Callista, could you just start doing the ribbing and then move on and not do it last? Yes. Why would you want to do it this way? Because by starting doing a cast on here, knitting the rest of the sweater, and then coming back, picking up stitches and doing the ribbing later, it creates a lot more structure, and it won't, it's going to keep its shape a lot better if I do it this way. Which we want, because this is a pretty big neck opening for this size of sweater. It's like a size, like it might be just slightly too small for my 6-year-old. So it's kind of a smaller kiddo. And so it's going to bring it in a little bit and also help keep its shape a lot better. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to pick up and knit. I have my smaller circumference knitting needle here, and so this will get us well around the neck. I'm going to start in the back right of the shoulder here. So this is the sleeve. I'm going to start kind of in the back right of the shoulder. Is it super important where we start? Not so much. We just don't want to start right in the middle, like where the chest is, and be super obvious. The stitches can be a little bit looser right here where we're getting started, and I don't want to make it in a place that's super obvious. So I have my right needle in my right hand, just as if I'm ready to knit, and my left hand is holding my fabric steady. I'm going to, and I have my yarn ready here. So what we are doing is picking up the number of stitches around that I had originally cast on, which I could go back and look at my pattern. If you were doing this super properly, you would go back and look at your pattern and make sure you know how many stitches. I have done this enough times, I can just see where my stitches are and pick those up. So I'm all the way at the top of my piece of knitting here. I'm going to go in through the front under 2 strands here. That is the top of my piece, and these are where I cast on the stitches. I'm holding it in my left hand a little bit like I would if this was a knitting needle over here and had live stitches on it. And if you look at it that way, that's kind of how it clicked in my head, was that I'm really just knitting as if these were already on a needle. And I was holding that needle with my left hand. And instead of holding a needle, I'm just holding the fabric. So I'm going in just as if I'm going to knit. I'm going to bring my yarn around just as if it was a knit stitch, pull the yarn through, and there I've picked up 1 stitch. So I'm going into the next stitch. See, I'm under two strands there. I'm not under 2 stitches These are both from the same stitch, and this is made when you do the cast on. So I'm going to knit that. I have two on my my stitch now. If we're looking here, you can maybe see, whoops, lost them. No worries, can go right back. There's a little hole here if you're looking from the side. We're going to go into that. If we're looking from the top, we can see that we're going underneath these two loops here. And we're going to knit that just as if those two loops were a knit stitch. So we're just going to go all the way around, going under those two loops on each stitch, and we are getting all of our stitches on the needle. I have seen this done taking a crochet hook. Let's see if I can grab one here. That's not huge. Okay, just gonna use this one, a crochet hook. Going in, instead of the knitting needle, going in, grabbing a loop of the yarn, pulling it through, and then putting that on the needle. Does that work? Absolutely. Is that a lot of extra steps and very fiddly? Also, yes. So that's when I had done that several times, and I thought, well, why don't I just knit them in the first place? And that is how I came up with this method. I'm sure I'm not the first one to have come up with this method. So let's look at the other side real quick. We are creating a little bit of a ridge here, as you can see. This won't be a bump or anything from the other side when you're done done knitting this piece or anything. It is part of what is going to make this structure a lot more solid as when your piece is done. So, and then here's what it looks like from this side. It just looks like we are continuing right through with the fabric. So then once I have picked up all the stitches all the way around the neck, I'm going to do a knit purl rib for, I don't know, 6 or 8 rounds, just however long I decide I want it. And then I will be back. I will cast off, and then I'll be back to show you the finished product. So just creating knit stitches. See how this is really loose? I'm going to pull it tighter, and you know, when I go back to weave that end in, I'll pull it nice and tight, and you won't even be able to tell. So see you in a few. Here we go. This is the end result. I had picked up and knit the stitches around here. I did, I don't know, 6 or 8 rows and then I wound off, and then this is the inside. You can see the little bump from where I picked it up, and it is not, it's a little bit stretchy right in there. To me, it's just the right amount of stretch. It's a little bit stretchy, but it is going to hold that neckline together really well.